Hello and welcome to the newly launched Sigurwana YouTube channel. Super to have you here. We have decided to set up a YouTube channel, this YouTube channel, because we want to use the platform to share some interesting facts and stories about the lodge and the wildlife up here in the Soutpansberg. And we thought, what better way to do it than in video format here on YouTube. So here we are, or Facebook, wherever you see this first video. We thought, given that this is the first video going out, it might make sense to share some interesting information about the Soutpansberg in general and a little bit about Sigurwana and Tolo Reserve. But to do that, I think what we're first going to have to do is get a little bit higher up, probably to the top of that mountain over there. Over there. So yeah. So there we go, we made it up to the top of the Soutpansberg. Took me about 20 minutes to get up here, but we'll probably speed that up to 20 seconds for you guys. Yeah, so like I said, this is the Soutpansberg. It's the most northern mountain range in South Africa that I'm standing on top of now. And Soutpansberg actually means salt pan mountain. And it gets that name from the working salt pans, which are still found on the northwestern side of the mountain range. These salt pans have a lot of historical and cultural significance for the region, where people would visit the salt pans, collect salt for their families. In fact, people would hike over from the southern side of the mountain over to the north, collect salt, and then take it back to their families. So quite a trek for them, but they were willing to do it for that salt. The mountain range is about 170 kilometers long, starts in the east near Punta Maria in Kruger National Park, and then stretches across to Vivo in the western side. We are probably about 30 kilometers from the western end, so this area would be termed the western Soutpansberg that we're sitting in now. At its widest point, the mountain range is about 50 kilometers wide, and the highest point is a peak called Mount Lajuma, which is 1,746. Yeah, it's a bit of a contentious number because different sources will give you a different figure there, but we've measured it at 1,746, and that seems to be a reliable figure. Where I'm standing now, just for interest's sake, I'm at about 1,500 meters above sea level. One of the things that really makes this mountain range special is the variety of plants and wildlife that can be found here. And this diversity is a direct result of the geology and the microclimates that can be found across the entire range. But we'll probably discuss that in a little bit more detail in future videos. Just to give you a brief idea on the figures, we have in the Soutpansberg about 152 mammal species, 542 different bird species, 170 different reptile species, 550 different spider species, and one number that really stands out is the ants. There are about 133 different ant species up here in the Soutpansberg. But what really sets the Soutpansberg apart is the large number of endemic species found up here in the mountains. My current understanding is that we have 24 plant species and 19 reptile species completely endemic to the Soutpansberg. So I think that gives you a pretty good idea of where we are in the greater scheme of things. So now let me just tell you a bit more about Sigurwana specifically. When we are talking about Sigurwana, we're actually referring to two properties, Tolo and Sigurwana. Combined, they make up the area that we use for game drives for the Sigurwana Lodge. The area I'm standing on now, this is actually the Tolo side of the property. The combined area of Sigurwana and Tolo is a little over 5,000 hectares, 50 kilometers squared, so it's quite a significant area. And on the property we also have a huge variety of different wildlife, so you're quite likely to bump into things like giraffe, impala, zebra, wildebeest, eland, waterbuck. We have a lovely herd of sable antelope, which we see quite frequently, bush pigs, warthogs, all these sort of guys. And of course there are the shyer animals which everyone wants to see. A bit more difficult, but if you get lucky you could bump into them. So we have the elusive leopard moving around here, the brown hyena is quite active on the mountain, and there's a lot of nocturnal animals like civets, honey badgers, aardvarks, all these sort of guys, but a lot more luck is required to find them, although the porcupines are quite reliable if you go out driving in the early evenings. One of our main tasks up here at Sigurwana is conservation, looking after the land, something we're happy to do and something we enjoy doing actually. Fortunately for us though, a lot of Sigurwana was never used for any commercial farming or anything like that, so much of the land is completely natural, as it always was, completely undisturbed. Unfortunately here on Tolo there was some farming, there were some alien plants brought in, and we have spent a lot of time actually removing those plants. One of the major culprits was eucalyptus trees, which I think we're proud to say we've actually got under control now with a little bit of help from EWT, which is the Endangered Wildlife Trust. There were black wattles, which I think we've also got under control. And then there's some jacarandas which we're still working on, bamboo we're still working on, prickly pears we're still working on. It's an ongoing thing, but keeps us busy and out of trouble. If I turn the camera around now, you'll see some old stumps from the eucalyptus trees. In fact, if you just look behind me, you can see all those stumps. Where I'm standing now used to be a eucalyptus forest. There was no indigenous plants growing over here, there was no grass on the ground, it was just eucalyptus trees with bare soil underneath. So I mean, if that's not a success story, then I don't know what is. And look, I think on that positive note, I'm going to call an end to this video. Thank you so much for watching. It was great to have you here. As I said, we're going to try post a few more videos in the near future, even maybe aim for one video a week. The content of the videos will feature interesting facts about the animals and the plants up here, stories about things happening at the lodge, and anything else we think might interest you. Maybe if you have something that you think would interest you, you can put it in the comments and it might give us some ideas for what we can include in these videos. I think what I'm supposed to say is like this video and subscribe. I don't know, I'm new to it, but yeah, look, it's going to be a fun adventure making this together, and yeah, we'll see you at the next video. Cheers.